eSIM Studios YouTube and mobile app. The eSIM Studios YouTube channel offers the very best technology news and reviews with in-depth coverage found nowhere else. Hosted by founder and creator, Taylor Bell. He's a really good dude, college educated, and worked inside the industry. He knows what he is talking about. The eSIM Studios mobile app is an experience unlike any other tech app, with an easy-to-use interface view, late-breaking tech news from all over the industry, and so much more. eSIMstudios.app also includes the unlocker. Learn to unlock phones from the professionals for free. The clean and intuitive layout, finding breaking news articles and deals in tech has never been easier. Watch and listen to the eSIM Studios YouTube channel and podcast from within the app. Additional features include easy Gcam download and installation, the Android Flash tool, and sign up for our weekly giveaway drawing. Download the eSIM Studios mobile app at eSIMstudios.app and find us on YouTube by simply searching eSIM Studios.
Your little Mac M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. You got that iPhone 15, I got that phone to nothing. Think you're cool with iOS 18. Android had those features back in 2018. Your little Mac M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. You got that iPhone 15, I got that phone to nothing. Think you're cool with iOS 18. Android had those features back in 2018. Your little Mac M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite. iPhone stuck on same design for years. Nothing but the OnePlus Pixel have you crying tears. M3 CPU is sweet. It can't beat my Snapdragon X Elite.
fresh off the G5 jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is the eSIM Studios podcast, live stream episode number 158 on this Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Again, thank you everybody for joining us. Started a little late, but I got a couple of very interesting topics here. Hang on one second. My volume is a little down. There we go. Okay. And I wanted to let you know, Brian, Amazon, I noticed the address you gave me was out of the country. I'm not going to obviously say where, just to keep privacy, but so what I did, I ordered the case myself. I'm going to ship it to myself. It'll be here tomorrow. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ship that to you personally. So I have everything worked out. It's all on the way, and I'll get it to you. So no worries, okay? Appreciate your support and everything. I just wanted to give you a quick update on that case that you did win in the giveaway. I got everything taken care of, and it's moving. So, but I just had to, I'll have to ship it myself instead of Amazon weird outside of the country. So normally I can ship stuff to whoever, but it's within the country, but whatever. What's going on, Daniel? Appreciate you joining us today. Thank you very much. Wanted to let everybody know if you perhaps missed the podcast or you join us late in the middle, anywhere in between. If you want to catch the full thing or skip in between the different topics, you can always catch the replay here on YouTube. Or if you want to take us on the go, simply search eSIM Studios on whatever podcast platform you get or listen to, and we will show up. So, eSIM Studios podcast across all podcast platforms in the audio form. It's interesting. I'm actually in the process of creating my own podcast network. Pretty interesting how that works, right? So obviously creating one podcast is the most obvious and most utilized thing when you create a podcast, right? And then you can upload them to, it's like you have to find a distributor. Once you get a podcast distributor, then they distribute it to Apple Podcasts and iHeartRadio app, music app, Amazon Music, YouTube Music, all this stuff. But creating a podcast network, meaning having more than one show under a certain umbrella or under a name, an entity, having multiple podcasts covering multiple different topics and shows and hosts. It's a little more intricate, a little more detailed, a little more difficult, a little more expensive. But I'm getting that up and running. So we're going to have, I got a bunch of cool stuff for y'all that I'm working on. A bunch of cool stuff. So it's an ever-evolving, world, I guess, that we're living in. And as far as what I'm doing is ever-evolving. It may seem like I jump on here late and get a late podcast, right? And I do want to start sooner. But I also want to keep you informed with kind of what I got going on in the background. So we're going to get my own podcast network rolling. It's going to entail, we're going to podcast about different types of stuff, right? Obviously, this is going to be on it. This will be the flagship show. So we're going to have tech podcasts. We're also going to have football podcasts. And a couple other cool things, right? And I'm not going to be on every single show, right? I've reached out to a couple different people that are going to host shows for me. Well, you know what I mean, on their show on my network. So, very cool. And we'll all obviously announce that as it gets rolled out, but that's in the works. And a lot of cool stuff going on. So reaching out to advertisers and stuff. So, have their own websites, and it'll be really cool. Trust me. We'll have topics. We'll have podcast shows on different aspects, right, of whatever, entertainment, sports, tech, whatever. So working on that in the background. But I did want to mention let's see here. So as you know, I've mentioned this a couple of times, and I only try to bring forward news and or rumors or leaks that have a strong potential of becoming true. I don't want to give you some clickbait or people or non-subscribers or non-viewers of this channel trying to get people to click on my videos and just say some wild and crazy stuff in these titles. I'm not trying to do that. I could if I wanted to, right? Because a lot of YouTubers do that, clickbait. But the rumors that I put forth, that I basically put out there or put my name on them, I try to make sure they at least hold some weight, right? Meaning, if it's a leak, if it's a rumor, there's a good chance, a strong chance that it's going to become true, right? Or of something of the sort. You know that we've been talking a lot about Apple and their future roadmap, their future plans, not only just for the CPUs like we were doing yesterday, but the foldables, right? We've mentioned in the past, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, that Apple patented and it got approved for a hinge that creates a zero crease effect when the device is opened. And Apple would not file a patent for a zero crease hinge if they weren't going to produce a foldable device, right? I mean, common sense. But we got more news today that essentially their iPhone flip is a green light. It's a go. I believe I've said that in the past, but today what I am going to present to you is just more proof of that, right? So we are going to have an iPhone flip here in the future. I'm sorry for my voice. Allergies are insane here. And then we'll dive into that news, and then we'll roll into the foldables that Samsung just released, because I'm pretty impressed. After having this flip for 2-3 days, I finally put my daily driver SIM card in there. So I put the OnePlus 12 as my secondary phone and moving to Flip 6. But I'm very, very impressed with this flip. But we'll get to that in a moment. And the Apple news will tie into this. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So, according to people inside the building, Apple, inside the company, they've started working on it. Meaning, not necessarily manufacturing a final product, but they've got that hinge, that zero crease hinge patented, and I'm sure they've manufactured some of these hinges in different sizes. And now comes the fun part. Now comes where Apple is apparently, this is a go, and they are at this very second creating flip device, a bunch of different flip devices, different design languages, different aspect ratios, different screen sizes, and then they will essentially pass them around the boardroom. You know, they'll let some of them working, some not. Right, and we've seen these devices with these leaks with these new Pixels, the Pixel 9 series. They'll make prototypes and essentially use them for a while, and then come back to the boardroom a few weeks later, tell you, hey, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. Okay, well, out of these 10 iPhone flips prototypes, let's cut. We don't like these 3. We all together essentially don't like these 3 out of 10. So let's cut these 3 out of 10. Let's focus on these 7. They'll do that for a while until they get it down to 5, right? Maybe 3 phones. Then they'll get it down to 2. And then they'll eventually get it down to 1. And that will be their prototype moving forward, meaning that will be essentially what the iPhone flip will look like, will feel like, and will operate. But that process has begun. Y'all know this takes years for these things to occur. Now, when is this iPhone flip coming out? Now, let me make clear, this is an iPhone flip. So this is not a device that's going to look like the Fold, Pixel Fold. Not going to look like the Pixel Fold. Not going to look like the Z Fold 6 that Samsung just released. This is going to be a flip, right? This is going to look like the Z Flip 6. Now, I want Pixel really, really, really bad to come out with a flip phone. Their Fold is cool, but the Flip, I think, is more enticing to more people simply because the fact it's half the price, right? I mean, people can still afford it. A $2,000 phone, even though I'm sure most finance it through their carriers, still expensive. It's very expensive. Insurance is more expensive, everything. Now, internally, so this prototype iPhone flip, we got a code name for it. Code named is V68. The phone will be similar in style to the Z Flip series. Now, the release date of this is not expected at the earliest until 2026. That means if everything that we mentioned through the prototype elimination process, if everything goes properly, that's the earliest we'll see it. Now, they say earliest because, as you know, shit happens, and there may be manufacturing hurdle. There may something always happens, it seems like. But at the earliest they can get it to us is 2026, meaning it would launch with the iPhone 18 series. Now, that falls right in line with our Apple roadmap that we've gone down a couple times, right? So this year you're getting the 16 series, you're getting the bigger Pro, the bigger Pro Max. Next year with the 17 series, you're getting the Slim. So you're going to get the Plus model removed, and you're going to have the iPhone 17 Slim put in place of where the Plus model is at, right? That's for the 17 series. So they'll introduce a razor-thin iPhone in the 17 series. And then in the iPhone 18 series, they're going to introduce the Flip. Now, you're also going to see a reduction in the dynamic island. Eventually, they are going to go with an under the display Face ID or cameras, right? Sensors. It's expected to come in the iPhone 18 series as well. They're still not crystal soup because, as you know, Apple uses more than one camera to scan your face for the Face ID, and even we do have cameras under display, right? Xiaomi's got some. The Fold 6 has got a camera under the display on the inside. It's still not as clear as a regular hole punch camera, but the technology is progressing. In here in a couple years, it should be, right? So that's big news, right? Now we got a code name that basically means it's a go, because they don't give code names internally to ideas, right? Or wishes. They give those to prototypes, and they have a team. Apple has dedicated a team internally, whether it's 30, 40, 50 people, or whether it's 5 or 10. Probably more than that. Probably 30 to 50, I bet. That's going to start working on this. So what they do is they gather ideas. They gather, they got to put some prototypes together, some working and non-working. So they got to source these parts. They got to get they have to get suppliers, right? Who are they going to get for their foldable display? Apple's not going to produce that display. Guess what? Probably going to have to get it from Samsung. I'm assuming. So, I mean, they could, I guess, theoretically, they could produce their own foldable display, right? But this will be interesting. Cannot wait to see this. Been forever forever, forever, forever. This should get iPhone fans very, very excited. I'm excited, and I'm not an iPhone fan. So I could only imagine what the iPhone fanboys are feeling right now. Lots of excitement, right? Been stuck on this same design for years, and it's time for a change. Now, again, I'll just quickly go over this before we move into the next topic, but it's not a coincidence that as Tim Cook winds down his reign as the Apple CEO, and a new, younger, more enthusiastic CEO steps in, is when you see all these changes, right? It's about time. Apple has been kind of stuck in. Honestly, I think they've fallen behind. Now, we won't get in this today because I didn't do as much research as I wanted to on this topic. We're going to get into probably tomorrow, Apple and AI, because that's an area I think they have fallen behind in. I personally think Apple has no idea when it comes to AI, meaning they're sourcing the wrong models. I don't think they have a clue what to do with their phones when it comes to AI. That's a personal opinion. Now, it's up to me to try to gather evidence to try and prove it to you. But we'll probably, unless there's a bunch of news in this next day or two, probably get into it tomorrow or the next day, right? Because this stuff is cool, hardware stuff. And I don't think they need to rely so much on AI. I mean, it's an eventual thing that they're going to have to implement into the operating system. They might be trying too hard, too fast, but on this AI stuff. But I think where they have gone has led them down a dead end. Essentially, I'm not going to say a dead end, but I'll present to you my thoughts on this tomorrow or the next day. Now, foldables. So Samsung knows this, right? Especially if Samsung has to manufacture them a display, right? A foldable display. Apple was sitting on top of or I guess they still are, on top of the foldable game. There's another cool foldable. If I got enough time, we'll get into this. The new Xiaomi, what do they call it? Flip Mix or Mix Flip? It's badass. But Samsung insiders, look, if we're getting this news, the insiders inside the industry gotta know this, right? So Samsung knows Apple's making a flip phone, right? It's going to be their main competition, because right now, who's in competition with these foldables? Essentially, Xiaomi, Motorola with their flip, maybe Oppo, maybe OnePlus with their fold. But I'm talking as far as units sold, right? Number of phones sold, whether it's a foldable or a flip. For Samsung, probably. I don't know the numbers, but I'm assuming they blow away everybody else in foldable sales, right? Now, Samsung knows Apple's putting this together. Now they're going to have some stiff competition, right? It's all nice and dandy when you're sitting up top with no competition, but competition is good. We mentioned this just the other day, right? It's better for the consumer. It makes the companies put out a better product, right? And a lot of the times, hopefully more affordable prices, competitive prices. So we're the winners when there's competition. So this is a good thing, right? I'm actually anticipating this. I want to see it, and it'll be good for consumers. Now I think maybe it's a coincidence, maybe it's not, but I'm very impressed with this year's flip phone, right? And I think Samsung had to put their foot on the gas and say, because there was like between the Z Flip 3 and Flip 5, so there's like 3, 4, 5. There was 3 generations of flip phones where Samsung was kind of just lollygagging. I'm not gonna say lollygagging, but Well, yeah, I might say that. There was no rush, I'll put it that way, to put together a really complete device. Now they've put together a really complete device. I think they need to nail these here on out. Stiff competition, because Apple's going to bring it. They're usually late to the party with whatever they do, but when they do come and show up to the party, usually it's a pretty good product, meaning they've done their research, they've done their testing, R&D, inside and out, and they have a good product. So I think that's why I think that might have something to do with why Samsung put together such a good flip phone this year. And even the Fold 6, when I got my hands on that, wow, what a badass device. But I've been very impressed with this. Now, it may be hard to tell here. There's almost, and you can kind of see it, barely see it, the crease. It is dramatically reduced from previous generations. Dramatically reduced. Of course, you can see it because I'm showing it to you in the light here. But under normal conditions, just using it as normal, it's essentially not there. So if that's always bothered you in getting one, look, this is the best crease. Again, it's dramatically reduced. And they'll probably have another year or two before it essentially goes to a no crease, right? I'm sure they're trying to beat Apple to the punch because Apple has a no crease hinge that they're going to come out with in 2026. So that gives Samsung 2 more releases to get a no fold crease, but pretty damn close on this one. And it looks bigger. Don't get me wrong. Like when I show it to you in the light right now, like, well, I can still see a crease. It's still there. But that's under extreme circumstances, right? You're seeing it in a reflection. But when you use it, when it's in your hand, when you're in a parking lot, walking to the store, when you're in your car, when you're in your house, it's essentially not there. So very impressed with that. Now, 12 gigs of RAM has helped a lot. I can tell. I just can. The 12 gigs of RAM is an absolute winner on this device. Very snappy, very fast. Pulls up all my apps, all my information that I've had in the recents menu since 12 hours ago. Nothing is closed out. Now, charging speeds, battery life, still getting used to. And we'll do battery tests, we'll do charging tests, we'll do all that. Remember, it does take about 7 days or so for you to get used to it. But all in all, I think Samsung really, really put together a good phone this year. So, and I think Apple has something to do with that. So, now check this out. We have Pixel news, and we'll get to the Pixel 9 Pro XL in just a second. But look at this. So I was going through some settings, right, of this Z Flip 6, and I was turned on developer mode, and I was kind of, because there's probably 100 or 200 options, so it takes a while to scroll through the developer options on there. But obviously towards the top, ADB debugging. I always turn that on because when you plug it into your computer, it helps file transfers. Your computers can notice the phone when you plug it in. All that good stuff, right? So I noticed on here, it was grayed out. Like you couldn't change it. I was like, what the hell? And sure enough, it says, what does it say? Actually, I'll show you right now. It says restricted by auto blocker. Restricted by auto blocker. See that? So I hadn't thought much of it. I haven't plugged it into my computer yet, but I will soon. But I saw that and I was like, huh. Thought about it for a few seconds and kept it moving. And then I saw that you could not sideload apps, APKs on here. And then I was like, what? I was like, what the hell is it? What is Samsung doing? And then I dug into that headline a little more. And that's because of, guess what's blocking the installation of APKs? Auto blocker. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, I know what they're doing. So it's just another step. Now, you can remove it very easily and install APKs. You can remove auto blocker very easily and activate, not ADB debugging, excuse me, USB debugging. But it's just another step Samsung puts on their phones, and I don't know if it's going to be on every phone from here on out, but they started on this series because it wasn't on the S24. Another step you have to go through to deactivate that auto blocker so you can plug in your phone, transfer files on your computer, or you can download and install APKs. So it's another security measure. I mean, how secure is it if you can just disable it, right? But it is what it is. So if you see this headline and you're like, what? You can't install APKs on these anymore? Now, this is running 6.1.1. S24 is running One UI 6.1. So the foldables, the Fold 6, the Flip 6, are actually using a newer version of One UI. I expect when these S24 models get upgraded to One UI 6.1.1, I bet that auto blocker will be activated and it'll tell you can't install APKs anymore, right? Or activate USB debugging. Now, don't freak out when you see that because it's pretty easy to remove. So auto blocker is a feature that restricts third-party applications from being installed by default. It disables side loading on the new foldables to enhance security, requires manual disabling for third-party apps. If needed, users can easily disable auto blocker on new Samsung foldables in security and privacy settings. So, I've never looked into it, so let's do it right now. So if you go into security and privacy, because I know some of y'all have these new foldables, security and privacy. Okay. Auto blocker. All right, so if you got a Samsung, and go to your settings app, and then scroll down to where the security and privacy section is. After you go down to security and privacy, scroll down about halfway down the page, and you'll see this. Now, I don't know. It says auto blocker. Your phone is protected. I don't know how protected it is with just a tap and it will go away, but I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, if somebody's not familiar with Samsungs and they get on here and I don't know how to do this, that might help, but let's go ahead and turn it off. So turn it off. It's going to ask for either a fingerprint or a pattern or a face. So they want you, the owner, to turn it off. Let's do my face. Confirm, yes. All right. So now that it's turned off, no, not just anybody can do it, right? So it has to be you, the phone owner. So I guess that is kind of some security. But you can go back in here and developer options. What do you know? Now it's not grayed out. USB debugging. So what we'll do, turn it on. Yes, okay. Now you can transfer files and all sorts of stuff. and download and install APKs as well. So very cool. But I just wanted to put that out there because I kind of a head scratcher at first when you see this, but I just wanted to explain if you see this, basically what it is, right? Let's see here. Yeah. Yep. I see. Cool. Wow. Oh, it is? It's a, let me see here. I thought it was a 6.1.1 thing. Let's see. I got both of mine here. Of course, mine was already activated, my USB debugging. I'll just type in auto blocker in settings, search. Yeah, it's in here, but mine's turned off. Messaging app protection. Block images suspected of containing malware in messaging apps. Block software updates by USB cable. Now, it says prevent installation of system software using a USB cable. This can prevent someone with physical access to your phone from installing malicious software without you knowing. Wow. I had no idea. So, yeah, y'all are right. Now, mine was turned off, but again, let me see. Yeah, it's turned off on both of the 24 Plus and the Ultra, but it's on there. Wow, cool. Learn something new every day. Thank you. Now, let's get into check this out. Another day, another Pixel 9 video leak. Yours was turned off as well. Another day, another Pixel leak. So this time we get to see what the new Pixel 9 Pro XL looks like, size-wise, design-wise, against the previous model, the Pixel 8 Pro. I think it's on this same TikTok channel, which is good because I can play it. All right, because it should look and feel pretty different from the current Pixel 8 series. Where the hell is this video? Come on now. Ah, here we go. So there you got the, oh, what the, damn it. So there you have the, oh, you can tell, Pixel 9 Pro on the bottom, Pixel 8 Pro up top. Is there any sound to this? Let's see. Oh, you know what I got to do? Hang up. Hang on. Oh shit, I don't want to do that. Whoa. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I want to get a strike on the music, but I really, really, really like that design. Pretty damn close. I'm sure internally not much has changed inside in the components. Minus, the newer hardware, but as far as the location where they're placed inside the phone, probably going to be right around the same. And then some parts hasn't really changed. So the main thing that's really changed, obviously the CPU, right? I think they are putting better UFS storage in there, right? In the RAM, they're going to increase the RAM, but from the outside, it looks like obviously the camera bar has changed, and it'll be a flat edged phone all the way around with flat front, flat back glass. But other than that, it's pretty close. It does look much more refined. I'm not sure if most people like or dislike this new design. I love it, but some people might not. So might not want to go back to a flat screen. It'll be good. You can put nice thin glass on there. So I'm really, really looking forward to this Pixel series. Should be great. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I do want to see them. I do want to see them make a flip phone. A Pixel Flip would be awesome. It would be badass. Now, I don't know. As of right now, I don't think there are any plans, but I could be wrong. But as of now, they have not are working on anything. But I could be wrong. But from what I know, there are no plans. But I would hope there would be. Certainly hope there would be. And as we roll into the Flip again, durability. This is the one last thing I wanted to touch on. So I cannot play the content from what I am referencing, but the Z Flip 6, Samsung's new flip phone, stopped by at Jerry Rig Everything. Jerry Rig Everything is the YouTube channel name. He actually watches eSIM Studios. He's commented on a few of my videos before. So if you're watching this, thank you very much, sir. He actually did his durability test on this Flip 6. And it actually, for being a delicate device, did a little better than I thought. He mentioned in this video it performed better, meaning it's more durable this year than at this time last year, meaning compared to the Flip 5. So if you're unaware, Samsung did change some stuff up in this Flip. So they used a slightly thicker, more newer foldable plastic, right, on the inside of the device to prevent some lifting of the screen over time, to prevent damage to that AMOLED display. Because as you know, with these AMOLED displays, you'll see a lot that are for sale on eBay, OfferUp, stuff like that, that have these black, especially on eBay, these black dots right on the display. Well, that's from the deadened pixels, or pixels that will not light up anymore, right? So putting that, now when I say thicker plastic on the inside, we're not talking a lot, right? I think it's like they put out the number and it's like 1/1000th of an inch, but sometimes that's all that it takes. So, and they actually used a slightly different hinge. That's the same hinge, they just kind of retooled it, or we retweaked it as far as some of the moving components in this hinge actually made it better. So and that little thicker display right on the inside helps with the decrease in when it's opened up, that little thicker display helps with the crease almost being gone. So they've improved this, I'm not say drastically, but they have improved it, right? So of course no phone really passes his test, because as you know, he really destroys a lot of these phones, right? But it's pretty cool. I encourage everybody, I'll link it in the description box below. So a new durability test. Now, there's trade-offs, right? As you know, when Gorilla Glass puts out a new version, Victus 2, Gorilla Glass Armor, they always say it's more durable, right? Meaning it won't break as easily as a last year's model. However, what they don't tell you is typically when they make it more durable, meaning it won't break as easily as last year's model, it unfortunately goes the opposite way in scratching. A lot of times it'll scratch easier than last year's model, right? And that's unfortunate, but in this case, that would be true as well, because he did mention it did scratch one notch sooner than last year's, meaning he takes a scratch tool to the display, and it does scratch a little easier than last year's, but it should be more durable for long-term use. Now, what is the Flip 2 using? Flip 2, Jesus. What is the Flip 6 using? Victus 2. No, excuse me, that's the outer display, duh. But on the inside, I guess they don't say what it is. It's a PET plastic. It does have an IP48 rating now. Last year, no IP. Let's see. So this IP48 water and dust resistance. Okay, so last year, so the Flip 5 was IPX8 resistant. Interesting. Okay. I think they show pictures here. There we go. So as you can tell, starts to scratch at a level 4. I think most smartphones, most other common smartphones, like take any phone, for example, like the S24 Plus or OnePlus 12, I think scratches at a level 5 or 6. And this started scratching at a level 4, right? Here's the video. Now, oh, you know what? Hang on. Let's see. Is it very flame retardant? Damn. So it did leave a little mark there. But he throws dirt, lights it on fire, scratches the screen, tries to bend it, the famous bend test at the end, in the opposite direction, right? Nice. So it does, when he does do the bend test, just like last year's Flip 5, the phone does flex backward when you try and snap it in half, but locks out, no damage to the screen. So this damage you see here is him basically cutting. Now, remember, this is plastic, right? It's foldable plastic. It's not like a typical phone, which is going to have glass, right? So he could easily cut right into there. And then there, that's what the hinge looks like when the display is taken out of the inside of the phone. Now, as you know, I strongly encourage insurance on these foldables. Strongly encourage. This is the best foldable I've had yet. And that just goes to prove it, right? It being even better than last year's model, him even saying it. Of course, you have to be careful with it. Of course, stuff can happen. And that's why I'm still encouraging everybody to get insurance, because I think the Samsung Care Plus with this foldable is like $14 a month, but it covers theft, it covers a loss, it covers breaks. You can get replacements, same day replacements. So whatever, it was worth it. But I'm actually going no case, and it's kind of scary. So I definitely needed the insurance on here, but I've been enjoying it. We will have a full review of this probably next week, because I'm waiting for the battery life to settle in so I can get a good idea of what that looks like. But so far, it's decent, right? There was a picture of how they were constructed that I wanted to show you real quick before we get out of here. Y'all are gonna want to see this because it shows the vapor chambers. Let's see. Let me see if I can find this real quick. And if I can't find it here in a second, I'll just Google it. Let's see. Oh yeah, they sent me a Nubia sent me an email. Or what is it, the Red Magic? That's what it was, Red Magic. That's not the Nubia though. Coupon. I also have a coupon for Pixel Superfans. Alright, so hang on, check this out. Oh, check this out. I think I got it. Yeah. The small one, the small Pixel Pro, the small flagship, that's going to sell a lot. Yeah. I think that's going to sell good. Yeah, Google, you're talking about? They might. I might, skip the first year, and then anything after that, you're probably good. But I would like to see it. You watched that one a couple hours ago, yeah. No, some of them he kind of throws back together, but a lot of the time he'll just rip the display out. They basically write it off. They know he's going to destroy it, so they just, they're paying for promotion, basically. It's advertising, so they don't care what happens to the device. But I've seen one or two devices he's semi kind of put together to see if the screen still works, and most of the time they don't. So look at this. Samsung shows us what's inside. It's actually kind of neat, and I guess since I used to repair some of these, that's why I find it cool. And maybe it's because I'm kind of a nerd, but I like this stuff. But if you're interested, check this out. And you can tell how big the cooling chambers are. What's up with this ad, man? Go away. Blocking our view. So look at this. So this is the Fold 6. So you have the back plate, the outer display when it's open. Can you? You can't see my cursor, can you? Yeah, whatever. On the right. And then you got the boards, your motherboards. You got the two batteries, right? You got the two motherboards right there. You got a main and a sub. And then look behind it, that copper thing right kind of in the middle. That's the vapor chamber. You see a vapor chamber right there? Now, in comparison to OnePlus's vapor chamber, that's probably average sized Samsung's. This one we're seeing right here is probably average. OnePlus vapor chamber is enormous. It's probably 3 or 4 times that, maybe 5 times that size. It takes up like basically the whole back side of the OnePlus 12 is a vapor chamber. That's why this phone's never got hot. And you know what? And when I was talking about this yesterday, right? When I was talking about putting this on the front dash of my car, right? Remember I was saying, yeah, it was getting hot, but all my other phones do that because, when it's sitting up there in the dash and it's 100 degrees outside, it's in direct sunlight, it gets hot. That's normal. Well, not for the OnePlus 12. I had it up there before I put my SIM card in here, and I went to go grab it when I got back. And I was like, you know what? This thing's not even hot. And I was just talking about how that's normal. I was like, oh, I forgot it's got that ginormous vapor chamber inside. So it does help. It does make a difference. It does. And then you see the wing plate and all the hinge and stuff like that they throw together, and the main displays that go on the other side of the phone. Now, look at the flip. So here's the flip. Interesting. So you have 2 parts up and down instead of 2 parts side by side. So, and you only got one main board, right? Well, I guess you kind of, yeah, that sub board down there is like so small. Whatever. Now, the vapor chamber on this flip is basically on the very top part of the phone, on the top half of the fold, where that display is. Because it's not only encompassing a battery, smaller of the 2 batteries, but it's also encompassing, that's where the CPU is on the top half, and that's where the outer display is on the top half. So you have essentially 3 components heating up that one half of the device. I'm sure glad they put a vapor chamber in there. So the bottom half doesn't necessarily get as hot as the top. So they definitely didn't need one at the bottom. Would be cool if they could have found some way to, well, I'm not going to say that, but I'm just glad they put one in there. Now, again, like we talked about yesterday, Google. If you haven't put it in there by now, it's probably too late because I know you're manufacturing these Pixel 9 devices, but we got to see some kind of vapor chamber in these Pixel devices. When we get ours, I'm going to go take it outside to see if we can overheat it. Put y'all to the test. Because now you see this kind of becoming not a common thing, but you're starting to see companies. Just a couple years ago, it was kind of unheard of, right? OnePlus was like the only company that had anything of the sort. Now you're starting to see Xiaomi and Samsung, some other companies do something about this heating. And I'm not sure if Apple has one in theirs or not. They might. I don't know. I just don't know. But Google needs to do something about it. So I think they need to manufacture a vapor chamber, or if they don't have the knowledge, or I'm sure they do, go out and lease a vapor chamber like the design of it from Samsung or OnePlus, and it's time to do something, because this overheating thing is not good. Anyways, I thought that was a cool little chart. I thought they said they had a watch. Oh, they sure do. That's cool. Look, I got mine on today, testing it out. Very interesting. Sensors in the back. Back case, waterproofed. Components. Wow. In your display. Now that's on the Ultra, but same theory when you're putting it to the regular Watch 7, right? Very, very cool. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna get out of here. My voice is almost out, so I would be forced to get out of here in a minute anyway. So I'll see y'all guys tomorrow, and I do really appreciate the time. Thank you very much. It really means a lot. Check us tomorrow. We should do a flash giveaway tomorrow, I believe. So same time, same place. You know where to find us. eSIM Studios. Peace out.